Hey there, everyone. Hopefully, you've had an amazing week. I am excited to be back sharing some great insights with you this week. But let me just tell you, it's cold. Yeah, I'm in Houston, and I know our cold is really not cold. I grew up in the north, but it's chilly today. I was just outside with one of my clients, walking them out, and I just thought, oh, I'd rather be inside under a blanket. However, got a lot to do today, so that's not going to happen. But I hope wherever you are watching this, by the time you see this video, maybe it's not so cold, but I heard everywhere in the United States is experiencing some cold. So stay warm. Also, I'm recording on the last day of January, so we made it. I always feel like January is one of those months that feels like 3 months in one. And it's just one of those weird times of the year where you're starting to get back into the swing of things, but everything is moving so fast. You don't have time to really breathe. And you know that the clock is ticking down before your students are going to start taking their state exams, end of course exams, whatever it is that they're having to take. And it's going to go fast, right? And you want to be able to show for all of the hard work that you've done in your classroom. Get ready though, because February and March both have a Friday the 13th in them. And I think as we speak, when we go back to school on Monday or Tuesday, it's a full moon. And I truly believe in all of those things. So here we go. But today I want to talk to you about my new theme for the month of February. And that is really campus and classroom culture. I am one that I truly believe that you have to think with your head when in whatever you do in education, because we have policies and mandates and accountability and all of the things. Plus, we're dealing with people's children, right? But we also have to lead with our heart. We have to teach with our heart. And that's where the culture piece comes in. You heard me all through the month of January, and I'll continue to emphasize how important it is to have procedures and practices in place in your classroom, in your school building, which I call systems. If the systems are not in place and being followed, then we're going to be reacting rather than being proactive. And that too is really going to affect that culture within our building and in our classroom. But today I want to get started on this journey with sharing some insight about how important it is that you, as a classroom teacher, are in a space that you align in your core with your building. Now, this is going to sound a little woohoo and hokey a little bit, but go with me for a minute because I truly believe that this is so important because the culture of your campus is going to truly affect the culture you design in your classroom. So let's get started. I remember thinking back to my first year of teaching, and you've heard me say before, it was a rough year. And I felt like there were three of us in the building that they did not have space for us inside the building. So three of us of all 65 people in the building were in portable buildings outside of the school main building. Myself and my two partners. We were a three-way split for fourth grade. I was math and science, one teacher was language arts, and the other teacher was science and writing. And we were isolated so much from everybody else in the building. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe it was intentional, but I also believe that the principal was not intentional about including us. And so the system really didn't work for us. It just so happened as well, me being brand new and I didn't know what I was doing, one of our partners ended up having a death in her family, and she had to leave Houston for a while to go deal with all of the family stuff that was involved. And she was out for almost the entire first semester of school. So then we had substitutes coming in and out, mainly one that stayed for most of the time, but the occasional, oh, can't sub today, and then we would get somebody random. So not only was I struggling. My mentor, the reading teacher, was trying to keep my head afloat, but also she was trying to keep the other class going too with a substitute teacher. It was rough. It was very rough. What we ended up building out there in our little tripod in the portable buildings was our own set of system, which ended up being our own culture. The following year, we were able to make some rearrangements. I took on a different grade level, went inside the building myself, but most people were able to get back in the building too. So we didn't have to have those portables. The portables became more like extra spaces where you could take small groups or something. It changed the dynamics of everything in our building because we were once again a team. And that's where I saw myself really be able to start flourishing. I not only understood everything I didn't know and accepted the fact that I wasn't perfect. I know it's funny how that happens, right? But also, we were there together. Our team, our grade level was together, our campus was together. People didn't treat us like we were the outsiders, no pun intended. And then as I moved into leadership and I learned how to become a school leader, I realized so quickly how important culture was in a building. And what I saw my last year as an assistant principal was a school that totally fell apart. As a matter of fact, the principal was removed partway through the year, and that's when I kind of started to step in and eventually got the principal position. Every single classroom had become its own island. Nobody was doing anything together for the greater good, at least until I started my journey and was able to start trying to pull people together. But it was so late in the year at that point, halfway through February, we didn't have much time to get there. I felt so bad for all of these teachers. And one reason I know I was able to take on that position is because my superintendent, directors at the admin level saw that I understood the need to build a culture where we were in it all together as a team, because the culture of the building is definitely going to affect the culture in your classroom. Now, you heard me say a few minutes ago, if you're not aligned with that, I really want you to ask yourself, are you in the right place? I talk to teachers all the time who say things. Of course, we generalize, right? That's what we do, especially when we're in a tough situation. But I hear them say things like, wow, I don't think teaching is for me. I really want to push back on that. I really want you to think about those words before you make a choice to leave the profession. Maybe it's just that the culture on your campus is not for you. I think I've shared this before, but years ago, I was starting to move out of the classroom onto the leadership team. So I was involved in many of the teacher interviews when we would hire new staff. And our principal had pulled us all in, this group of us, to tell us she was interviewing a teacher from another campus in the district who was told, you either need to leave or I'm not renewing your contract. And at first we were all like, whoa, 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 whoa. But she said, I really feel like this gentleman is just not a fit for that campus. And that campus is just not a fit for him. So I want you to give him a chance. Long story short, we did. And he ended up being one of our top teachers in the building, going on to move into leadership roles himself, and currently is a principal. Culture is so important. And through the month of February, we're going to talk about how you develop that culture in your classroom that's going to really get your kids engaged and really allow them to feel part of a community. But today, I just want you to consider, how is the culture of your campus affecting the culture in your classroom? Is it a right fit for you? And if you feel so connected that you want to make a difference at that campus, how can you step in, step up, and help to change that culture? How can you become that leader for your colleagues so that your campus becomes one team? I know it's a lot to think about, y'all, and we have to always think with our head. But I believe when we design schools and classrooms that thrive, that actually make a difference for kids, is when we also think with our heart, when we lead with the purpose of impacting and empowering those that we lead. I hope you have an amazing week this week. I know this was a shorter episode, but I really want you to consider what we talked about today, because I'm out there in the world, y'all, trying to help us be the best that we can be with the work that I do. I don't want you to give up on it quite yet. I know it's hard, but we can do this. And before I go, I do want to share and just remind everyone, the Uncommon platform is a place for people like you and me. Those of us who know that education is hard, but we do hard better. It is like the Netflix of professional development for teachers and school leaders, even aspiring leaders. So if this sparked a little something in you today and you thought, maybe I should go into school leadership, absolutely a place for you there as well. I have to share that I'm so excited because my newest book, From Chaos to Clarity, just released, and I've gotten some outside sales with that, but I also have uploaded that book, all about designing effective school-wide management systems, onto the platform. So if you become a member, you get access to that book as well. Pretty genius, right? And by the end of February, I'll also have my newest chatbot perfected for you to be something that you could go in, share a situation or an issue that you might be experiencing, and get that first line of coaching that has been developed to respond like I do. I'm so excited for all of these changes that are coming, but also for the impact that it will have on those who become members. So if you're interested in becoming a member of the Uncommon platform, please go to www.uncommonedu.com and get yourself signed up today. All right, y'all. Have an amazing week, and I'll see you next week right back here on the Empowered Educator.